What we're going to do is we're going to offset it manually ourselves. The way we're going to do this is we're going to use this exact system prompt right here, which by the way, you guys obviously are seeing right now. You can just take this and copy it. But I'm going to explain it to you real quick so that way you understand what is happening and what the AI is actually doing to cheat, to give us the correct times that we want. So you can see right at the very top, we're saying you are a time zone converter. You will receive a block of text containing busy times from the Google Calendar free busy API. Again, a block of text, one block, which is the result of the aggregator. And then here we're saying all the times you're getting are going to be in UTC, which is that universal time, and must be converted to CDT, UTC minus 05. This part right here is very important, okay? Wherever time zone you guys are in, whatever time zone you need to be subtracting from this general UTC is what you need to have here, okay? So this only applies to me because I'm in Central Time. So we're literally telling it subtract 5 hours because this is what it takes subtraction-wise from the UTC to get to my time zone from every start and end time to get the correct local time, okay? In order to get your version of this, figure out what this looks like for your time zone, and then make sure you come into the system prompt and replace it with whatever that is, and give it the number of hours it needs to subtract, which is just going to be whatever number is here, okay? That's how you're going to be able to customize this for yourself. Then after that, we're saying parse, aka extract all the information, all the start and end times out of the text that you receive. Again, that text is going to be from the aggregator, regardless of that formatting for every busy block that is found. Again, make sure you subtract 5 hours from both the start and the end time. And then here we're saying return a single line JSON, right? JSON string in this exact format with no line breaks, no markdown, no explanation, and no extra text. We're literally saying when you give me an output, I don't want anything else. I don't want no comments, and I want it to be in the specific format. Again, this is the format that our voice AI agent is expecting. That's what you guys are seeing right here. So we're giving it that format, and we're saying, I want you to output it in here. Now, you guys notice in this format, there are pieces of information that it needs. The first one is going to be obviously the tool call ID. So we're going to need to give this AI the actual tool call ID, which I'm going to show you guys where you're going to get that here in a little bit. And the second thing it needs is the actual busy times, okay? And these are going to be things that it's going to be getting from that aggregator. So in order for it to fill this out, here's the rules, right? We're saying to replace tool call ID here, which is this little thing. We're saying to replace this with the actual tool call ID that we're going to be giving you from that incoming request. After that, we're saying the result that you give me must be a single string with no line breaks, aka this thing right here, right? It needs to be one single object, nothing broken. It needs to be one entity, right? It needs to be one thing. And the third rule is to extract all the time blocks from the text that we give you, no matter how they're formatted or labeled. I already explained that one to you guys. Here's the subtracting rule. Subtract only 5 hours from every start and time. You would format this to whatever applies to you guys. And then here we're saying express the time in 12-hour format with AM and PM. Don't just give me military time, right? Give me 1 p.m., give me 2 p.m. instead of 13, 14. And then right under that, we're saying list all the correct busy blocks separated by commas in the result string and return nothing except for the JSON object. So here's the rules that it needs to play by when doing its job. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to copy this and I'm going to throw it inside of ChatGPT here. So I'm going to show you guys right now. I'm going to take this, and right now in this module, we're using the 4.1 nano model. I think this is smart enough to do it. If you wanted to, for some reason, go with anything higher than that, and 4.1 nano is not giving you the thing that you want, you're more than welcome to just click the drop down and replace it, but I'm going to be using 4.1 nano. Now here, obviously it needs 2 things, right? The tool call ID and those times. So we're going to drop down a little bit. You can see in the user prompt, we're giving it the actual times, right? Here is the times you will do this with. And you can see we're mapping the result of the text aggregator. That's the thing that combined all the times into one, block of text. And then right under it is the tool call ID. Right now, I just have a placeholder, right? Just miles99 and whatever. Where we're going to be getting this tool call ID is going to be exactly the spot that sent the tool call ID to us. Okay. Now, if you just use common sense and look at the assembly line so far, let me connect this real quick. The only place that a tool call ID would have came is from VAPI, and VAPI's sending information here. So the tool call ID is going to be sent to our webhook, meaning inside of ChatGPT, we're going to need to go to our webhook And then that's where we should be able to find that tool call ID. So I'll show you guys exactly where to do that, right? You're going to scroll down, and then here, because we're looking for tool call, you're going to see this tool calls tab, tool call section. Expand that, and boom, there it is. That's the very first thing you guys are looking at, tool call ID right here. So we're going to take that, we're going to map it, and just like that, this ChatGPT module now has all the information it needs in order to use those times and the ID to fill in the format that we want. And the result is going to be exactly what we're going to map in this webhook response, right? We're going to take the result and boom, put it here. That's what's going to get sent to our voice AI. So how are we going to test this out, right? How are we going to make sure that whatever times are coming out is the correct times that we're going to be asking for? Well, it's super simple. I'm going to disconnect this and I'm going to disconnect this. And this is the only thing I want to test, right? I'm looking at the times that are coming out of this Google Calendar, which I know are wrong, and I'm looking at them being aggregated, and I'm hoping this guy can take that aggregation, put it in the right format, and fix it, and give us everything we want with the tool call ID. So I'm going to open this up, and just for testing purposes, because we disconnected the entire automation right here, it's complaining that it can't reach the tool call ID module, right? You guys can see it's not filled in anymore because we disconnected it, rightfully so, right? So I'm going to give it a fake one. I'm just going to say Miles9966, just a placeholder to see if ChatGPT is doing its job. Now I'm going to click save, and I'm going to tell Make.com to start the automation here, just like we did before, right? I'm going to drag this, put it in here, and now if we click run once and let it run its thing, we know that this is going to be the wrong times, right? We can see 10 to 11. That's not the right time. We're busy 9 to 10. But we can see that all those times were aggregated, so it became all one text box. And this guy, the result is, boom, here it is. This is the format that we want. Tool call ID, here it is, right? Miles9966. So we use the tool call ID. And then look at this, result, busy times. And here's all the busy times, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Is that right? Boom, that is right. 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. 11 a.m. to 12. Is that a busy time? Here it is, 11 a.m. to 12. And the last busy time is 1 to 2 p.m. And that is our third busy slot for the day. So we know that we have officially done our job right here. This is the correct fixed cheat code way of fixing whatever the hell is wrong with Make.com. But we just did a workaround, right? I showed you guys how we kind of aggregated it and just system prompted AI to fix that for us. So now what we're going to do is I'm actually going to fix one more thing before I move forward. You guys can see in the result, there is, right after the word busy times, there is a colon, okay? Now, things can get a little bit weird because a colon is used in the formatting of a JSON, right? So the JSON, in order for it to be treated as JSON, it has colons. So when you start throwing random colons that are not really part of the JSON format, kind of like this, it can break the formatting itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it remove this colon. Okay, I'm going to go back to the system prompt. Obviously, it's looking at this as an example. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to say, I'm literally just going to delete it. Actually, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to delete it because it's looking at this as an example. Then I'm going to click save, right? And now I'm going to click run once just to make sure that that colon is gone in its result. And you can see right here, busy times, no colon, and 9 a.m. to 10, 11 to 12, 1 to 2. That's perfect. So now what we have to test is we have to make sure that this can get sent back to our voice AI agent correctly. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to connect the webhook response, and we are now going to map the result of the ChatGPT, which is that JSON body in the correct format that our voice AI is expecting, right? This is it right here. Mind you, we might run into a small problem where we need to actually make sure that it's formatted in the correct spacing instead of one line. But right now, I'm kind of trusting Claude to leave it as it is. I never tried it with one line, so I don't know if it's actually going to break it or not. But if it breaks it, it's no big deal. We'll just tell ChatGPT to add the spaces for the JSON formatting. If not, that's just one less step for us to do. And I'm trying to save time here for you guys. So cool. Result is here, saved. Save now. Very, very important. We're going to make sure that everything that we hard coded is back to variables. Remember, we hard coded the information here for testing. That's going to be the start time and end time, which is coming from this JSON parsing module. So start time is going to be from, and then end time is to. And here's our calendar. Save. Did we hard code anything else? We hard coded the tool call, right? Yeah. So we're gonna fix this. Get this guy out of here. Get the actual tool call ID variable. Throw it in here. And yeah, that looks it. System prompt good. This is mapped. And what about this? Oh, this is not, this is wrong. Okay, so we're gonna take this guy, and obviously that's gonna be the result of ChatGPT right before it. So I'm glad we're kind of going through this because we've been hard coding for testing. Yep, this is a variable. And this is still live. Perfect. Now we have the entire string. So what we're going to do is now we're going to click save. And we save the automation. We're going to test it. Okay. Let's go ahead and call our voice AI agent, Miles. And let's see if it's able to tell us if a specific time we're asking about is busy or not. So here, I'm going to click run once, wait for new information, because we're going to wait for it to send that information brand new. Now for this test, I went into May 20th and just booked 3 random slots. I'm going to call it. I'm going to see if we can ask about these slots. So that way we can actually see if it can give us the right time or not.
Hey, thanks for calling Chesterfield service. What can I help with today?
Hey, are you available at 11 a.m. on the 20th?
Sure, I can check that. When you say the 20th, do you mean May 20th, 2026 at 11 a.m.?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for confirming. Tuesday, May 20th at 11 a.m. is booked. We're showing it as unavailable. Would you like to try a different time that day, like 10 a.m., 1 p.m., or 3 p.m.?
Which day did you say that was? Was that a Tuesday or a Wednesday?
That time I checked was Tuesday, May 20th, 2026 at...
So here's the thing, right? It was able to get the fact that it was blocked, but it told me this was a Tuesday, which is wrong, right? That's not accurate, right? So in order for the voice AI to know the exact busy slots and the available slots, we're gonna have to make sure that both of those pieces of information are in here. And there's 2 ways to go about it, okay? Now, the way that I'm gonna show you guys should be the easier way for it to work with. And the reason why is because instead of us giving it, all of the times as one string, what this is called right here, this is called a string. And the reason why it's a string is because it is one textual sentence that just has a bunch of text in it, including the times. Okay, this is why this is a string. It is just a string of text, which has the busy times as text. What we can do is we can, instead of giving it a string, actually give it the information it needs in a JSON formatted code, right? A little tiny piece of code that's formatted in JSON. And what that looks like, okay, instead of it getting this as a result, it would then get something like this. Let me just show you a quick example of that, right? It's still formatted the same exact thing, except you guys can see here in the result, now it's going to be getting an array. So it's going to be getting a list, and this is formatted in JSON, not as a string, right? It's going to be getting an array instead of a string. So this could potentially solve that issue, okay? And the reason why it can solve it is because now the AI doesn't have to guess and try to interpret things on its own. Instead, it's getting pretty much a package that says, hey, this is the busy slots, and it can look at every container inside of that package and look at a starting hour and then ending hour, okay? And then down here, we're going to try to pass a note to it saying, hey, these are the busy times. Make sure you do not offer any of these to the caller. Offer any other reasonable time on this date that is not on this list. And this works way better instead of a string because it clearly formats and structures the result that we want the AI to interpret. And the better you can structure and format the result that it's working with and actually make it closer to code, the better the AI can work with those results, okay? AI likes to work with code more than text, more than strings. So if you can pass that information to it as, this tiny little array, it can actually help it work better with the data that's inside of this array rather than trying to interpret information out of it from being a string. So we're going to actually do this, okay? I'm going to use this as an example and I'm going to copy it, okay? If you guys are watching this video right now, you can literally screenshot this part right here, throw it into ChatGPT, and tell it to output the exact same thing that it sees. Or you can shoot me a message and I will send you this. I'm just going to quickly show you the note so that way, in case you wanted to copy it, you can see exactly what's happening here, right? So we're saying these are the busy times. We don't offer any of these to the caller or for any other reasonable time on this date that is not on this list. And then we're ending this array, and then we're continuing with the rest of the JSON formatting. So a way I'm going to do this, I'm going to copy this guy, right? And I'm going to go to ChatGPT, which is responsible for creating that result. And I'm going to feed it to it as an example, right? I'm going to put this right here, okay? Boom, like this, pasted. And I'm going to say replace tool call ID here with the tool call from incoming request. All of this stuff is still going to be the same. This is not going to change. And just to make sure that this is properly structured and formatted, I'm actually going to take the entire system prompt, paste it into my AI, and I'm going to say update this system prompt accordingly. Okay, just to make sure that everything is as tight as it can get with this formatting inside of the system prompt. And you can see it's still keeping that formatting, right? Busy slots, and then here's the opening of that array, and then it continues to everything. This is exactly what we're looking for here, okay? I'm gonna copy this guy and throw it back into right here, and then we're gonna try it. We're gonna use it, right? I'm gonna click save, and this should still be mapped as a result. It is, cool, perfect. Save this whole thing, and we're gonna test it out, right? We're gonna click run once, wait for new data, and we're gonna call our voice AI and make sure that, you know, it's actually doing what it needs to do.
Hey, thanks for calling Chesterfield Service. What can I help with today?
Hey, are you guys available at 11 a.m. on the 20th?
Yes, we can check that. Just to confirm, when you say the 20th, do you mean May 20th? And is the time 11 a.m.?
Yeah, that's right.
Got it. 11 a.m. on May 20th isn't available. Would you like 10 a.m. instead, or is there another time that works for you that day?
Are you guys available at 9?
9 a.m. on May 20th is booked. How about 1 p.m. that day?
What about 2?
2 p.m. on May 20th is booked as well. I can do 12 p.m. that day. Would that work for you?
That was perfect. That fixed it. Look at that. It knew exactly what to suggest, and it knew the specific dates that are busy because it was all in the response that was generated here. So look at this. Results, tool call ID. Here's that tool call that we gave it. Here's the busy slots. It received every single busy slot in an array, and it was able to look at this note and look at the slots and interpret everything we wanted to do. And all of that went directly right back into it. Boys and girls, this is pretty much the availability check-in done. Okay. Now for the booking part. So boom, we just verified that this check availability tool is working. Okay. This is clearly sending to our webhook. It's doing what it needs to do. You know, now that we have availability, what we're going to do to make the actual booking is essentially create another tool specifically for that booking. As you guys can see right here, we already have a tool to create these bookings. Okay. But the problem with this is the tool that was provided to us by Vappy. This is not something that's inside of make.com, okay? And this is not as reliable because it can book on top of existing slots that are already busy, okay? It's not doing the checking. So what I'm gonna do, just to make sure that we have full control, just to make sure while we're already at it, I'm pretty much gonna set up this Google Calendar set event tool, but I'm not gonna be using the one that Vappy creates. We're gonna do the same thing we just did inside of make.com, and that's going to be pretty much a whole other scenario. So now I'm going to save this one. We have it labeled as check availability, and we're going to do the same exact thing to create those bookings, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to open up the scenarios, and we're going to basically create a brand new one. And on this brand new scenario, we're doing the same thing we always do. And the way to start this off is just like we did the check availability, right? Obviously, because the AI has to use a tool, it's going to be sending information to a webhook. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a custom webhook. I'm going to come here and I'm going to click on custom webhook, and it's going to make me create a brand new one. So I'm just going to give it a name, and the name for this one is going to be create booking, right? Obviously, so that way I can be organized and I know exactly what this webhook is for. I'm going to click save, and here's that webhook address. So I'm going to leave this right here. I'm going to save it, save the whole thing, and I'm going to make sure I rename the entire automation so that way I know what this is for. And I'm going to say create booking. Okay, boom, there it is. Now we're going to jump back into Vappy, and then I'm going to click on this one. We're not using this guy at all, so I'm going to pretty much delete it, top right. delete this tool, get out of here. And the one that we're going to be doing is going to be a custom tool, right? Because this is not anything that's out of the box. So in this custom tool, it's going to ask us a few different things. What do you want the tool name to be? We're going to make it create underscore booking. Okay. Now we have to give it a description because this description is what the AI uses in order to know what this tool is used for. So we're going to say use this tool when needing to create a booking on a calendar. Only use this when the date and time have been selected and confirmed by the caller and when the slot is actually available and not busy, right? So just want to make sure that we're covering all the grounds that we have to do, okay? Click save. And do we want this to run strictly with all of the information and the properties inside of it? Yes. Do we want this to run asynchronously? No. Okay, what this means, I already explained to you guys what these mean, but I'm going to keep it as this. And that should be pretty much the same settings that we have on the check availability tool right here. You guys can see. Now in parameters, what is this? This is the individual pieces of information that are going to be sent in here, right? So what are we sending to our webhook? Let's think about it. We're sending for basically, let's look at what we configured in our check availability. Okay, we configured one of them called the requested time. And what this is the requested date, time, and month and year of the time slot that needs to be checked in the calendar if it is available. Collected and sent in this exact format, and we've given it a specific format. What I'm going to do is I'm literally going to copy this description because we already did the hard part and wrote it out. And I'm going to jump back here, and I'm going to just add a new property. I'm going to paste this description here, and the name of this is going to be, instead of requested time, it's going to be booked time, right? Because this is going to be the time that they're using to book. It's also going to be a string. And what I'm going to do here is I'm basically going to change up the wording. So instead of saying this is the requested date and time and month of the year that needs to be checked, we're going to change the word checked into booked in the calendar if it is available. Collected and sent in this exact format. We're going to keep this format. The reason why we're keeping this format is because we're going to take the same exact path that we did here, except we're just going to do it in here, right? We're going to get that time and we're going to let ChatGPT turn it into this thing, which is what we care about. And then we're going to turn it into JSON and we're going to do all the stuff that we need to do. We're pretty much going to be duplicating this. So in here, this is going to be a required variable. Yes. And that is the only thing we need to collect. I'm going to click apply. And at this point, let's see, server URL. Where do you want this information to be sent? That's going to be our webhook, right? So we're going to jump back in here and copy this webhook. I'm going to go back into Vappy. Paste the webhook in here. We're telling it this is the address you're going to send that information into. We don't have any authentication. We don't have anything else outside of that. I'm going to keep everything else pretty much the same. And down here, which message do we want the AI to say as it's doing this? Request completed. That's going to be, let's see, for request. So when it finishes that request, I want it to say, I just booked you into the calendar. Is there anything else you'd like me to help with? Question mark. And that's it, right? I'm not going to end the call after this. Doesn't need to be ended. Let's see what else. Default request start. This is when it starts to do this. What should it say? It should say, give me a sec while I get this booked for you. And then it's going to start that booking tool call. Wait for a message to be spoken before triggering the call. Yes. Let's see. So that's good. When it's completed, it's going to say this. We don't want to end the call after it's completed. And if it's failed, if it could not do it, I'm going to say, for some reason, I wasn't able to book this for you. Please ask me to transfer you to a to a person so I can have one of our human team members help you with this booking. Okay, this is what I wanted to say if it fails. Don't want to end the call after that, that's for sure. So here's those messages configured. And let's see, what else do we have to do? This is good. This is good. I'm going to save this just so that I can save my work. Inside of book time. Yep. String. This. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, that's it. So now what we're going to do, folks, is we have to tell our AI about this tool. Okay, create booking. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm actually going to take that system prompt, which is the one that we're using right now for Chesterfield service. That's the one that we're working on. And I am going to go into this tool section. And you can see we already told it what these tools are and what they do. So all I'm going to do is just go find the old tool name and replace it with the new one. Right? So what is the new one? It is create_booking. I'm going to copy the name of it. And the way I'm going to do that is just find the old tool name for whatever we use to book a calendar and just replace it with the new one, right? So I have the new one copied and it's going to be this one, right? Google Calendar tool. I'm going to go ahead and delete that and boom, here's a new one. And I'm going to search for the name of the old one just by clicking Control F and then Google_calendar tool everywhere that it shows up. I'm just going to replace it. So you guys can see this is a quick way to find where we're mentioning this specific tool. Everything else around it is already written, right? What the tool is and what it needs to be used for and the instructions on when to use it. It's all here. So we just have to replace the name of the tool. Here it is again. Here it is one more time. Looks like we're referencing it 5 more times. And I can see that up there. Or actually, maybe it's not updating. That might be it. Let me click enter at the top. Yeah, it's 0. You guys can see the number is 0. There's no more. We just updated our system prompt. And that's it. So I'm going to click publish on everything. And let's go ahead and call it, man. This should be our final test here. Okay. It should be able to do not only check-in availability, but also the booking. One more thing before we run this test is we have to assign the tool, right? Never forget to do this. I spent a good chunk of my life creating a tool and just never assigning it to the voice AI and wondering why it's not using it. Make sure you assign it, right? So you can see this random ass number is the old tool that we made. And you can tell because it doesn't have a name because it was deleted. So I'm going to delete this one and I'm going to click on the new one. You guys can see it shows up right here. And that's it, right? Info collect, check availability, and create booking is all assigned to the AI. Click publish now. And now we should be good to go. Okay, so I'm going to jump back here. And just to make life a little bit easier, what we're going to do next, so the webhook is saved. And now I'm going to call it so that way I can make sure the information is being sent to the webhook. In the video, we're going to skip to the part where we already checked availability. And we're just going to show you what the AI does when it sends the information to this webhook. Please cut that.
Thanks for calling Chesterfield service. What can I help with today?
Hey, could you book me into your calendar on Wednesday at 12 p.m.? That's the 20th of May.
Absolutely, I can get that set up. What's the first and last name for the appointment?
It's Anmar Miles.
Thanks, Anmar Miles. Just to confirm, do you mean Wednesday, May 20th at 12 p.m.?
Yeah, just book me into your calendar at 12 p.m. for that time.
Got it. Anmar Miles, Wednesday, May 20th at 12 p.m. What's the short reason you're needing plumbing service? Leak,
Clogged
drain
toilet.
issue, water heater. Thanks. I'm seeing that Wednesday, May 20th at 12 p.m. is currently not available on our calendar. Do you want to come in at 1 p.m. instead?
Wait, that's a little weird. Why the hell is that not available? Oh, that's why. Because the time slot is from 11 to 12. It's looking at 12 as booked.
Clogged toilet. Just to confirm, is the first name Anmore, spelled A-N-M-O-R-E, and the last name Miles?
It's A-N-M-A-R.
Perfect. So Anmar Miles, clogged toilets. Before I lock it in, what's the service address for the appointment?
123 Webhook Drive, Chicago, Illinois, 63555.
Thanks. Just so I don't book the wrong area, your address is in Chicago, Illinois. Is that correct?
No, it's in Farmington, New Mexico.
Give me a sec while I get this booked for you. For some reason, I wasn't able to book this for you. Please ask me to transfer you to...
All right, guys. So, you guys can see it immediately did the booking, right? It sent the information that we want over. It used the correct tool, but then it said, hey, I couldn't get this booking for you. Obviously, the reason why is because we never configured webhook response, right? We just wanted to see if it was using that tool. And you guys can see right now, it did use it successfully. So if I open up tool call, if I open up collection, if I open up functions, and then here is arguments, look at this. Book time, Wednesday, May 20th, 2026 at 1 p.m., which is exactly the time that I chose. So now what we have to do is we're pretty much going to copy what we did here, okay? Now, I made one more change, and I want you guys to also make this change. I found this a little bit better as I was calling and testing it. Again, instead of making the entire JSON that gets created by this ChatGPT module, which is obviously the format that VAPI expects as, one string, instead of the entire JSON that gets created by this guy, which is obviously what goes into our voice AI as a response, I had it keep the JSON formatting as well, just to make sure that we're following the best practices, which should make it error out way, way less when it's actually parsing that information. So the way I did that is I went into the system prompt, and here you guys can see I added all the spaces needed for this JSON to be formatted properly. And you can see in the AI, of course, I did not do this manually, right? What I did is I came into my AI that was creating this, and I said, can you make it so it doesn't make the entire JSON as one string? Update the system prompt, and it gave me this. I'm probably going to give you guys the system prompt as well, but you guys can see the example is now formatted properly like a JSON, which I just for sanity's sake, I wanted to keep it as that. And this should help out a lot if you guys run into any errors where maybe it's not able to look at the correct times for any reason. Just keeping it as best practice as possible. So here's what that looks like, saved. And yeah, you guys can see it's sending the webhook properly, save it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to configure what happens here. And we're doing the same thing that we're doing here, right? What's coming into our availability webhook is the same exact format. Let me show you it. Boom, right? Wednesday, May 20, 2026 at 1. So what are we doing, right? We have a ChatGPT module that's converting it, and then we're parsing it. So I'm just going to copy those modules. And by the way I did that right now is I clicked Shift on my keyboard. I don't know if it's different for Mac, but on Windows, I click Shift, and I can just drag my mouse, and it lets me select multiple modules at once. So I just did this, and then click Control Copy just to copy it. Or you guys can just right click and click copy to clipboard. And then I'm going to jump back into my create a booking automation and then click Control V or paste it. And what's going to happen, you can see the module showed up in here. So this is literally filled in, by the way, with all of the same exact instructions. Now we're not going to have to change these instructions because we're doing the same exact thing. The only thing we're going to have to change is mapping the variable that it's going to be doing these instructions with, which is just going to be the actual time from our tool call. So I'm going to dig into, where is that? Tool call list and function arguments. Here it is, book time, right? This is literally the same name that we configured, by the way, as a variable inside of VAPI. I'm going to take book time, throw it inside of here, and that's it. We're good to go on that. Now the JSON part is it's expecting the results of the last one before it. So I'm going to throw that in here. Done. And yeah, we are good. So what happens next, right? We get a parse JSON, and what we're looking for this time, instead of checking availability, we're looking for a calendar module, which is going to make a booking. Now, what is that called, right? Google Calendar. We're just going to find it real quick. There it is right here. Create an event. Boom. What is it asking for us? It's asking, do you want to quickly create it or do you want to fill in details? Let's just put in details because why not? We want to be as specific as possible. Calendar ID. If you already connected your calendar, it should just be a drop down. You select it. Event name. This is just going to be what is the booking called. So we're going to say booking with client, and I'm going to add their phone number in the booking name. Now, you guys remember earlier how I told you we are collecting the client's phone number without actually asking them for it. The way that this is being collected is literally here. It comes in from the webhook. So if I go here and I see call, and the place you're going to find the phone number of the customer, of the person, whoever's calling your voice AI, is going to be under customer. Down here, you guys can see it's right here. This is the number that I'm using to call the voice AI. So if I wanted to use this number at any certain point of my entire automation, It's right here under customer. Just expand it, and I could drag this number variable and throw it here. So what this is going to look like on my calendar when it gets created is booking with client, colon, and then the client's phone number. And you can see down here, do we want to include any attendees? This is, by the way, this is only going to show up if you have the in detail. But what's the start date and what's the end date? Guess what? These dates is going to be whatever times that they're booking, and they're coming directly from this bad boy right here. So just to fill this in properly, what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to run the automation so that way it actually has information inside of it. You guys can see right now that module doesn't even show up. The last module we see is ChatGPT. Clearly, there's a JSON module right after it. And the reason why this happens is because this JSON module was never used. So if for some reason you want to select some information from a module that exists in your automation, but it doesn't show up in the list when you scroll here, is because you just never used it once. So you're going to have to go back and just use it once, and that should resolve that issue for you. So I'm just going to show you guys what that looks like right now. And I'm actually going to like fake use it. Let's see if I can actually get away with just clicking run module and just using the word test. It's probably not going to work because it's not, it's looking for JSON. That's right. So I'm just going to fake run it in front of you guys. I'm going to see if I can get away with this without running the entire automation, just running the module only by itself. Let me go back here. I'm going to copy this JSON because it's expecting a JSON, right? There it is. So it was used, right? We can see that it was successfully used. Now I'm going to connect it, and hopefully this should be enough. There it is. Boom. We got it. So it's showing up here. So at this point, right, we're just going to fill in the details one more time. Here's calendar ID. And then I'm going to say booking with, let's see, customer, grab the customer's phone number. What is the start date? So now that we can see that this is actually coming in, we can see the JSON module. The way that I'm going to make sure that the information that goes into this Google Calendar booking is by simulating what would be created by this guy if the information that was sent to it is what it is expecting to receive, right? So we're basically going to be giving it a sentence that is going to look at that sentence and then create the start and end time JSON that we need. And the way we're going to do that is just by literally going to the tools and grabbing that example sentence that we gave it. So I'm going to open up this check availability, and then I'm going to go to the requested time thing. And then look at this, right? We have an example right here. So Monday, April 13th, da-da-da. This ChatGPT module is going to be looking at this and then converting it to what we want. But we just want to simulate how we would do that. So I'm going to open it up, and then I am going to just temporarily remove this, this variable, and I'm going to give it this thing just so that I can manually run it without having to run into anything else. Click save, right click, run module, and this should give us this right here, right? So this is what would normally come out of this ChatGPT. Obviously, we just simulated it right now because we want to simulate the kind of result that would come out of this bad boy. So we're going to take the result, which came out of ChatGPT, we're going to copy it, and then we're going to paste it here, just temporarily also as a simulation, and then I'm going to run this guy. And now what happens is we have two variables. We have the start time variable, and we have the end time variable. So now that we have this start time and end time, how do we make sure that these can be mapped in the correct place that they go here? Well, now what we're going to do is we're pretty much going to fill in as if we ran this entire automation and look at the preview that comes out. Right now, you guys can see this preview does not match what this is, right? This is the only thing this is giving us is start time and end time. So the way we're going to fix that is basically by disconnecting the automation here, and I'm going to bring this and tell it to start here. Now what's going to happen when we run the automation is it's going to run this module, take a look at this, and then output it in this format, and then feed this format as a preview into this guy, which is going to allow us to then see the preview in here instead of whatever this is, which is basically the first test example that I did to show you guys that we need to populate the JSON module in here. So I'm going to click run once, and it's asking me, it's saying, hey, I can't run if you don't give me anything. Calendar ID, event name. I'm just going to do test, click save, run once, and boom, there it is. So what happened is this guy did his job, and if I open up this you guys can see it was fixed. Now we only see the two variables, start time and end time. We don't see that example that we used. So now I can fix this and put it back to the way it was, put this guy here, reconnect these guys, and actually fill this guy the way I would normally fill it out. So now that we have that fixed, we can actually start filling out the information the way we want to fill it out. Calendar ID is going to be our calendar. Event name, we're going to say booking with, and I'm just going to include their phone number here. So here's the customer's number. And let's see, attendees, start date and end date. Obviously, the start date is going to be this bad boy right here. Boom. And then end date, this is going to be that end time. So this is just going to be the time slot that the booking is going to be happening. Duration, where it's is going to be an hour. So we're going to say 0100. It's wanting it in this format. This is hours and minutes. So under here, I'm saying 1 hour and this many minutes. If you want to change this to maybe like, 30 minutes, then this would be like 00 and 30, right? So this is 30 minutes. Let's just keep it at 30 minutes. Why not? Event type. I'm just going to keep this. We don't even really have to fill out the event type. Click save. And yeah, that's pretty much good. So now what are we going to do, right? Let's just pretend we booked the calendar. We have to send a response back to our voice AI saying that we booked the event, okay? Or else otherwise, how is it going to know that we actually did the booking on the calendar? So we're going to pretty much do the same thing we did here, right? We're going to have to send a webhook response telling it that. And this doesn't actually have to be generated by ChatGPT. This could be something that stays the exact same every single time, because all it is just a message telling it that the booking was successful. That's all it is. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to open up the same AI we've been working with all along, and I'm going to say update, or actually not update, give me the format that gets sent in the webhook response. Give me the JSON in the format that gets sent in the webhook response only. But for the result, just tell it a message saying the booking was successfully made. And that's it, right? So all I should get right now is that specific response. Here it is. Boom. That's all we need. I'm going to take this guy. I'm going to throw it in here in the create booking automation. This time we're looking for webhook response because we're responding back to our AI. And the body is going to be this thing that I just got pasted. Now notice there's still something we have to do here. We have to fill in this tool call ID. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So where do we get this tool call ID from? The same exact place we got it last time. It's going to be from the webhook. So I'm going to jump back in here, and we're basically going to do what we've been doing, which is mapping that as a variable. So I'm going to delete it from this. Here it is. It's deleted. And now we're going to look for, where is it? Tool calls ID. Here it is. Boom. Put it in the middle. So what happened is now tool call ID, this variable gets replaced with this ID because we just mapped it. And then here's the result. The booking was successfully made. So when this message goes back to our AI, it knows that this was successfully done. Click save, save the entire automation, and that is it, boys and girls. We are officially done with creating a booking. It is literally that simple, okay? We pretty much did exactly what we did in this check availability. This one was a little bit more ugly, obviously because we had to deal with the time zone and all that different data formatting that's happening in the middle. But this one is pretty straightforward, right? We're getting that book time. ChatGPT is making it JSON. We're parsing that JSON. We're putting it in our Google Calendar. We're creating that event. And then here we're sending a response back to our AI saying, hey, we just did what you asked us to do, which then it will say back to the caller. So yeah, that's pretty much good to go. I just saved it. I'm going to turn this guy on, click save, jump back here, and I'm going to turn this guy on, delete all data. And also I am going to save it once this is turned on. By the way, if you're on the free plan, you can only have 2 scenarios turned on at all times and nothing more than that, which kind of sucks. So yeah, make sure that if you guys are doing this build, that you're not doing it on a free make.com account. Just go for the basic plan, which I think is literally like $10. It gives you 10,000 scenario runs that you guys can use. It's more than enough for doing what you need to do. But technically, you can get away with the free account because you only need these two. But I'm just assuming you guys are going to be using the third one, which that is the same one that we made to collect the information, right? The info collect tool. You guys can see we have three baked into the voice AI instead of two. If you don't want to do this, or maybe if you want to drop, I guess you can't really drop one of these two because they're kind of pairs. But if you don't want to do this, then technically you could get away with a free account. I'll let you guys make that decision on your own. But yeah, now you guys can see both of these are turned on, and we are officially done with the voice AI that can collect information, check calendar availability, and create booking on the availability. And now we are officially done with the voice AI that can collect information, check calendar availability, and actually create bookings in the availability. Boom! Let's go!